Coming up on Network Africa, the World Health Organization to deploy 4,000 Ebola vaccines to the Democratic Republic of Congo. An update on the Mosque attack in South Africa following new findings by the police. And 3 United Nations agencies now appealing for Sudan's 19-year-old Noura Hussein to be pardoned. Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Millicent Umwaka. We begin in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where the World Health Organization says it hopes to be able to send an experimental Ebola vaccine as early as this week to deal with an outbreak in the country. According to the Director General, Tedros Adhanom, the organization has obtained 4,000 doses of the Ebola vaccine and is preparing for deployment to the remote northwestern province of Equateur. Mr. Adhanom is on a visit to the region where 35 suspected cases have been reported so far, with more than half fatal. Congolese and United Nations agencies have begun sending emergency teams of specialists to the area to try to prevent the spread of the deadly disease. Meanwhile, the United Nations Children's Agency is appealing for emergency funds to save thousands of children from starvation in the Democratic Republic of Congo. UNICEF says it is asking for $800 million to scale up feeding centers, train medical staff and support children who were forcibly recruited by armed groups. In April, President Joseph Kabila's government boycotted a UN donor conference in Geneva, seeking to raise $1.7 billion for the country.
The worst eruption of violence in 2016 forced an estimated 1.5 million from their homes in the Kasai region of the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Very, very worrying to see that two or three harvests were failed, and there is not enough food at this very important time. And it's also very concerning to see that not all of the health areas, especially those who have been attacked during the violence, have enough ready-to-use therapeutic food and enough supply, enough material and food and medicines to provide, to give to children.
The United Nations Agency for Children says at least 770,000 children under the age of 5 suffer from acute malnutrition in the region. Spokesman for UNICEF in Geneva says only about 25% of the funds requested was received, which is far from enough to provide adequate medical care.
We have now children coming back from the bush after months of violence in a very bad nutritional situation. We think that 770,000 children suffer from acute malnutrition, including 400,000 children who suffer from severe acute malnutrition. A child suffering from severe acute malnutrition is a child who might die at any time. It's very, very fragile. These are not new numbers, but it's extremely serious to see that the funds are not here.
The guns have now fallen silent. But food insecurity remains high as farmers have been unable to plant their crops for the last 2 seasons due to fighting that has seen their villages and fields pillaged.
I'm actually very shocked by what I saw and what I heard in Kasai. I visited several hospitals where children were treated for complication of severe acute malnutrition. These children were struggling to survive. And I came back to the same hospitals 3 days later. Within 3 days, I saw that some children had died, and that new mothers had arrived with children that did not look in good condition at all, that were malnourished.
As hundreds of thousands of civilians are now returning home, hunger and disease are eclipsing guns and machetes as the region's most prolific killers.
Staying in the DRC, 2 Britons that were kidnapped in a national park in Virunga have been released. Bethan Davis and Robert Justice say they are very grateful for their freedom, paying tribute to the excellent support they say they had received. They were among 3 people held in Virunga National Park on Friday when their vehicle was ambushed, but have all been released now. However, a park ranger was killed by the kidnappers as she was protecting the 2 British tourists and their Congolese driver. The Virunga National Park is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is home to critically endangered mountain gorillas, lions, elephants and hippos. In South Africa, the elite police squad, the Hawks, have confirmed that a device discovered at a mosque attacked by 3 men last week is an explosive. The device was found at the mosque in Verulam, north of Durban, 4 days after 1 man was killed and 2 people injured by the attackers. The Hawks spokesman says the bomb squad had been sent into the Imam Hussein Mosque where they found the device and took it away. However, they haven't gone through analyzing what chemical it's made of. So far, no arrests have been made and the motive is still unclear. Authorities believe the attack has elements of extremism. In the meantime, the national government has taken over direct administration of the Northwest province, where corruption allegations have led to violent protests. The decision to intervene was taken by President Cyril Ramaphosa, who has made the fight against corruption a priority. Protesters have been demanding jobs and housing, with complaints about the poor delivery of public services and the near collapse of the healthcare system. There have been calls for Regional Premier Supra Mahu Mapelo to resign amid corruption allegations and the misuse of state funds. Mr. Mahu Mapelo, who is a political ally of former President Jacob Zuma, has refused to step down, denying all allegations.